Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the
The
desk.
clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment to H.R. 4790, offered by Ms. Jenkins. Page 4.
Sent that the further reading be dispensed with, and the gentlewoman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the wake of Citizens United versus FEC, the majority has proposed the Shareholder Protection Act of 2010, which attempts to blunt the court's decision and ultimately increases government intervention in corporate governance. Among other things, it undermines the historical precedence that defers to the sound judgment of public company directors by giving activist shareholders veto powers on matters of political expenditures. Under its definition of political expenditures, this bill includes, and I quote, dues or other payments to trade associations or other tax-exempt organizations. Effectively, this sentence muddles the fiduciary duties of public companies by requiring directors to obtain shareholder authorization to pay dues to trade associations that work in the interest of the company. This provision overrules the traditional business judgment rule, which grants directors of public companies wide latitude in the management of the affairs of a corporation, provided that judgment is made in an honest, unbiased, and good faith manner. Public corporations should be free to join any trade association that advances the company's business interest. The legislation before us seeks to undermine the work of trade associations, and it effectively implies that all dues paid to a trade association must be used for political purposes, allowing activist and dissident shareholders to advance their political agenda against trade organization in whose membership the public company would benefit, but whose agenda the activist shareholder may disagree with, is unacceptable. It's worth noting that not all of the dues paid by trade association members are used to fund lobbying or political activities. And note that I don't have a quarrel with the section of the manager's amendment on page 4 referring to trade associations. However, pension funds and other shareholders who would attempt to politicize contributions to a trade organization should remember that purchasing shares in a public company is voluntary. That is, if they do not trust the leadership decisions and business sense of the company directors, they may and should divest their shares. We must remember that this voluntary purchase is the best safeguard for ensuring shareholder rights. Corporations are representative, not direct democracies. If shareholders are continually second-guessing the decision made by a board to advance the company's growth and value, our capital markets will lose talented directors, and companies and shareholders will lose. My amendment would strike this language and allow public company directors to make decisions in the best interest of the corporation without bowing to the political pressure of activist shareholders. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman of Massachusetts recognized.